Do you remember the early days of the internet? Dial-up sounds, weird chat rooms, and websites that felt like entire universes. Well, here's the twist. A lot of those legendary websites you grew up with don't even exist anymore. Some collapsed because they couldn't adapt. Some were crushed by competition. And some, well, they were just too weird to survive. Today we're diving into the most famous websites that no longer exist, the fallen giants of the internet. And trust me, this is going to hit you with a wave of nostalgia. Let's start the countdown. 1. GeoCities, the birthplace of personal websites. If you were online in the late 90s, chances are you stumbled onto GeoCities. Launched in 1994, GeoCities let anyone build their own website. No coding knowledge required. You could just throw together wild colors, clunky GIFs, guestbooks, and auto-playing music. At its peak, GeoCities hosted 38 million websites. That's where the messy, chaotic culture of the early web was born. But after Yahoo bought it in 1999 for $3.6 billion, things went downhill. By 2009, Yahoo shut it down completely, deleting millions of personal pages. Today, people call it the lost city of the internet. After 2, Friendster, the first social media giant, Eddie. Before Facebook, before Myspace, there was Friendster. Launched in 2002, it was one of the first major social networking sites. You could connect with friends, share interests, and build a profile. In fact, Friendster's design directly inspired MySpace and Facebook. But Friendster struggled with slow servers, bad updates, and the rise of Facebook. By 2011, it pivoted into a gaming site, and by 2015, it was completely shut down. It's wild to think that Friendster could have been the Facebook of today if only it had kept up. 3. Ask Jeeves the butler. That knew everything. Back in the early 2000s, if you had a question, you didn't say Google it. You said Ask Jeeves. This quirky search engine featured a cartoon butler named Jeeves, who would fetch answers to your questions. It was fun, it was polite, and it gave search engines personality. But it couldn't keep up with Google's powerful algorithms. By 2006, Jeeves was quietly retired, and the site became Ask.com. The butler never stood a chance. 4. MySpace, the king of social media, that lost its crown. No list is complete without MySpace. In 2005, MySpace was the biggest social network in the world, even bigger than Google at one point. You could customize your profile with music, photos, and HTML themes. Everyone had a top 8 friends list, and if you weren't on MySpace, you basically didn't exist. But then came Facebook, with a cleaner design, better privacy, and fewer neon backgrounds. MySpace fell apart, losing almost all relevance by 2009. Today, the site technically still exists, but it's a shell of its former self. It's no longer the social media giant, it's just an artifact. 5. Vine, the app that was too good to survive. Do it for the Vine. Remember that? Launched in 2013, Vine was a short-form video app where users uploaded 6-second looping videos. It was the birthplace of internet comedy legends and viral memes. So why did it die? Simple. Twitter bought it, then abandoned it. By 2017, Vine was gone, leaving behind a generation of creators who migrated to YouTube and TikTok. In fact, TikTok is basically what Vine could have become if it had survived. 6. Napster, the music pirate that changed everything. If you wanted free music in the early 2000s, you weren't on Spotify. You were on Napster. Launched in 1999, Napster let people share MP3 files peer-to-peer. Suddenly, you could download any song you wanted, for free. The music industry freaked out. Lawsuits piled up. And by 2001, Napster was forced to shut down. But here's the twist. Napster didn't just die, it transformed. After being sold and rebranded multiple times, today Napster exists as a small streaming service. But the original Napster, the pirate ship, that's long gone. 7. Alta Vista, the Google before Google. Before Google was king, there was Alta Vista. Launched in 1995, it was one of the first widely used search engines. It was fast, advanced, and at one point handled 80 million queries a day. But after being acquired by Yahoo in 2003, Alta Vista slowly faded away. By 2013, it was shut down permanently. The irony? Most people today don't even remember Alta Vista, but without it, Google might not have risen so quickly. 8. Orkut, Google's forgotten social network. Speaking of Google, did you know they once had their own social media giant? It was called Orkut, launched in 2004. It was actually huge in countries like Brazil and India, with over 300 million users at its peak. But poor management, spam issues, and the rise of Facebook killed it off. By 2014, Google shut Orkut down completely. Today, hardly anyone remembers it, but for millions, it was their very first social media experience. 9. MSN Messenger, the end of an era. If you grew up in the 2000s, chances are you spent hours on MSN Messenger. It wasn't just chatting, it was an entire culture. Custom emojis, nudge buttons, status messages, and dramatic sign-in/sign-out spamming to get someone's attention. By the 2010s, though, Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp took over. Microsoft officially shut MSN Messenger down in 2014, merging it into Skype. For millennials, it was the end of an era. 10. Blockbuster.com, the missed opportunity. Yes, Blockbuster wasn't just a store, it also had a website. In the early 2000s, Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for $50 million. They laughed it off. Big mistake. Blockbuster did try launching an online DVD rental and streaming service, but by then, Netflix had already won. By 2010, Blockbuster declared bankruptcy, and its website faded into digital history. It's one of the greatest what-if stories of the internet age. Part 2. Why did they fail? So why did these once famous websites vanish? 3 main reasons. They couldn't adapt. The internet moves fast. Sites that failed to innovate were left behind. They got crushed by competition. Facebook beat Myspace. Google beat Ask Jeeves and Alta Vista. Netflix killed Blockbuster. They mismanaged their success. Vine, Napster, Orkut. Each had massive audiences but no clear long-term strategy. The internet rewards the adaptable and punishes the stagnant. Part 3. What this teaches us about the internet. Here's the crazy part. In 10 years, some of the biggest websites today, TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook, might not exist either. History shows us that no website is too big to fail. The internet is constantly reinventing itself, and nostalgia for these fallen giants reminds us of just how quickly things change. So, what website do you miss the most? Was it MSN Messenger? Vine? Maybe Friendster? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know which part of the internet you wish we could bring back. And if this trip down memory lane gave you some nostalgia, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who remembers the old internet. Because one day, even the apps we use today might just be another story on a list of websites that no longer exist. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.